Hi guys, just wanted to do a quick run through of some of the features that will be included in version 2 of my mod Faction Workshop Manager. The main features are all around settlement captures and assaults, and sorry for the awful editing of this video. I am not a YouTuber and this is the first one I've ever done. So here we go. Claiming a settlement. You've first got to unlock the faction, which is usually done by quest. Sometimes it's a perk or finding a location. For the railroad here, I've just finished Boston After Dark. So I'll head back to the settlement. You've then got to build the claiming flag, which is found under guard posts in the workshop menu. That will cost 500 caps to build because setting up an outpost isn't free. Once you've built that one, you just want to activate the flag. This will assign the faction ownership in the background and will instantly spawn 3 initial settlers. All further spawning after that is through the vanilla radio beacon. Alright, to launch assaults, you first need to build a holotape for that faction. These are unlocked after you have unlocked that faction and can be built under the chemistry bench under utility. They're actually called settlement obtainers. The only one being different is for the civilians or vanilla settlers, which is called a settlement liberator. And this essentially will shut off the mod for that faction and revert it back to a vanilla settlement with no assaults going forward. Alright, once you've built your holotape, you need to travel to the settlement that you want to capture, activate it from your Pip-Boy and exit the menu, and you'll get a message pop up asking what you want to do with the nearby settlement. It's 500 caps to launch an assault and 1,000 caps to purchase the settlement, which will skip the assault altogether. And after about 30 seconds, the quest will initialize and it will give you a marker to go and join your squad. As soon as you've joined your squad, they will start running in to attack. Alternatively, if you just start attacking yourself, they'll run in to join you.
Hey. Send a postcard. What I saw.
I'm going to fast forward things from here just to speed it up, but the rules of the assault are pretty simple. Kill all the settlers and complete the quest and you'll capture the settlement. If all of your attackers are killed, you will fail the quest and be locked out of that settlement moving forward. Once you've taken out those last ones, you'll see the quest completed, and then all of the capture logic is going to run in the background. This includes assigning the faction, disabling and deleting all of the attackers, cleaning up any dead bodies, straggling defenders. It will consume all of the stored water in the workbench. It will set up a flag material swap, which will be handled when the cell unloads, and it will also spawn 3 initial settlers, just like claiming does. Alright, defense quests. These aren't set up to be random like in the vanilla game. They're actually entirely based on the stored water in a workbench. This is done at a rate of 3% per 10 stored water. So I've just put about 400 water into that workbench, which will give me a 100% chance of an assault the next day. Why water? Because water farms are too easy and too powerful, and I want to make this game a little bit more interesting and a bit harder. So I've slept 24 hours and usually about 30 seconds for the quest to start from there. The attacking faction gets chosen from a list of enemy factions for the defending faction. And that'll be chosen at random. So you can see the mercenaries have been chosen for this one. I'm going to speed up from here and I'm going to let the attackers win. Well, I'm not going to do anything and they probably will win because it looks like there's a lot of them. This one guy can step out from behind there and hurry up and get killed. Alright, so quest has failed. That'll do the capture in the background. And the key difference with this one is that instead of the mercenaries taking over, they've actually delegated it to one of their allies. And so the scavengers are the new owners of this settlement. So for when you can't be bothered returning to defend your settlements, I've actually set up my own auto-resolve calculation. Rather than being random like it is in the vanilla game, this will follow strict rules, as I think that was one of the main issues that players raised with the system, that they'd set up a fortress and still somehow lose the quest and have their supplies stolen, etc. For the attacking side score, this is dependent on whether that attacking faction already owns a settlement or not. If they do have a current settlement, then the settlers from that settlement will be used to determine the attacker's score. If they don't have one, then a fallback and a fallback number will be used. So you get 18 hours to return and defend the settlement. So we're going to sleep for that amount of time, and you'll immediately get the either fail or success quest upon wake up. And then about 30 seconds after that, you'll get a message with the results. Settlement type, you've got two. There's protector or provider. This is based on the safety value versus population numbers. If they have a higher safety value than total population, they'll be a protector. And if they have a higher population than safety value, they'll be a provider. And this determines a bonus number that will get added to the score. One thing to note though, the safety value isn't based on turrets. Turrets are not included in the safety value because they're too easy to set up, and I don't think there's any gameplay involved with them. So the main score for both the attackers and defenders is based on each NPC's total damage resist and energy resist. This includes their base stats, as well as all worn armour and clothing. This makes it actually important to equip your settlers with the best gear, rather than hoarding it yourself. And we'll just head back to Abernethy Farm, and you can see that the children of Adam have taken over, the flag material has been swapped, and the player is locked out of the workshop. This is also set up to run on unowned settlements. So after you lose a settlement, that same settlement could change hands many times without you ever even returning there. Alright, there are 3 classes that each faction could be. Producer, which produce 1 food, but have a -3 scavenge debuff, so they won't scavenge any materials. Fighter, who have a +1 safety buff but a -3 food buff. So they'll take a bit of extra work to provide food for. And then there's the collectors that have a +1 scavenge buff but a -3 safety buff. So there's a daily reward depending on how many settlements each faction owns. So for one settlement, it's usually 10 of a certain resource. You can see here for the gunners, it's concrete. At 5 owned settlements, each faction has a 15% chance of getting a pet. Could be a dog, a cat, or a more faction-specific animal. And then at 10 settlements, each faction has a chance of getting a legendary settler. 15% chance.
I'm new around here. It's not exactly.
I highly recommend using the mod Legendaries they can use,
Sure thing.
as this gives you a higher chance of getting faction-specific legendary weapons or armor. Also just wanted to show that in the background, while I've been running around setting up 10 settlements to get that legendary settler, one of the faction alliances of the super mutants, trappers and forged have been gaining a foothold and have already set up 3 supply line linked settlements. This is because both the trappers and the super mutants have very high damage resist and are naturally very hard to beat in the auto-resolve calculations. So that just kind of shows how certain alliances can get entrenched if you leave them too long. Anyway, I think that's about everything I wanted to go through for now. Would love to hear any feedback, any ideas for things people would want added, things they didn't really love, and happy to answer any questions, as I know some of my descriptions are a little hard to follow. Yeah, thanks for listening.